Today I'll be sharing my top 7 tips to shop mindfully and be a better consumer for the planet, for people, and for your pocket. But first, what is mindful spending? So I refrain from naming this video sustainable shopping or sustainable spending because nowadays there's somewhat of a stigma attached to the word sustainable. Either it makes people feel overwhelmed at this chore of social responsibility or guilt for not choosing eco-friendly or eco-conscious products, or even a disdain toward the whole sustainability movement for various reasons, like maybe it's ambiguity of what it really means, or ambiguity with what the goals of the sustainability movement are, or the perception of sustainable action failing to recognize financial or economic departments, which is not always the case. Therefore, here we are. This is a guide to mindful spending. Because really, it's not about being the perfect consumer, but rather being more aware of how and why we spend money, along with understanding the ripple effect of our transactions. I'll also be bringing up the questions I ask myself to relieve any anxiety or guilt when shopping or spending money, or feeling bad for spending money in the first place or spending money on the wrong things, to help me instead feel empowered and confident in my purchases. As crazy as it might sound to some people, all of our actions have some kind of a reaction, especially as a collective altogether. So we might as well use our purchasing power for good, don't you think? So here's what we can do to make a difference. Tip number 1, don't consume. Not in the sense where you deprive yourself of the essentials of life. Definitely make sure you have what you need. But it can be helpful to practice evaluating your situation and to see if you can work with what you already have. Can I reuse, repurpose, recycle, repair what I already have? Is this something I'd like to try to DIY or make myself with the things I already have? Can I bring my own bottle, bag, utensils, container next time? The hardest part about this tip is when you're attending events and they have a bunch of freebies they're giving out, want to do some advertising. But I've learned to make it a habit to say no. For example, if someone's giving me a business card, I politely say no thank you, and I ask instead if I could take a picture. And this goes for flyers or any informational sheets of paper or cards or anything like that. Free t-shirt, free pen. Do you really need it, or are you going to forget about it in a week? These are just some things to keep in mind when thinking about whether to even buy something or take something in the first place. Tip number 2, buy second hand. Can I still have a quality experience and get what I need if I buy this product secondhand? It's very possible with a lot of things. I try to keep most of my purchases secondhand when possible, and it's surprising to see that there are a lot of people out there getting rid of things that are in great shape for a fraction of the cost of what you get it brand new, even though they barely made a dent in using it. Another perk of buying secondhand is your contribution to the circular economy. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically the concept of keeping things within the economy and continuing its lifespan by reusing material that would rather have gone into the landfill. So in a circular economy, basically nothing gets thrown in the landfill, nothing gets thrown away. It is either repurposed, repaired, or recycled into new material. Another thing about buying secondhand, your purchases don't contribute to the use of raw material or any extra energy use, drastically decreasing your carbon footprint, which is a good thing. Keep this tip in mind, not just for clothes like you typically imagine when thinking of buying secondhand or thrifting, but also for art materials, building materials, for a home or a project you're doing, gear, seasonal decorations, appliances, etc. Just make sure not to risk your hygiene or safety, and make sure that whatever you're getting secondhand still has a lot of life in it. Tip number 3, look for quality. If your judgment tells you that it'd be a smarter decision to buy a product new, pat yourself on the back for making that call. There is no guilt in buying new. Sometimes it is the most efficient decision to buy things brand new, as long as you remember to think durable, long-lasting, and high quality. Ask yourself, is this something that will withstand many years considering the lifestyle I have? You might find yourself having to spend a little extra money to get that quality product, but in the end, remember that it's worth it. In the long run, you'll be spending less money to replace the lower quality item that you would have rather gotten. And there's a good chance that your money is supporting better wages and work conditions for the people manufacturing your product. The same goes for having to spend a little extra for quality services as well. Tip number Watch row. Go with eco-friendly material. This tip takes a little extra patience and practice because there's a ton that goes into the life cycle and supply chain process of every product, and it can be overwhelming to think about, but familiarity will come over time, and I promise you it will get easier to understand what exactly you're dealing with, what kinds of materials are better than others, and what the labels mean, the more you make it a habit of looking deeper into it. So for this tip, the main thing you want to ask yourself is, was it sourced in an environmentally friendly way? And there's a lot that goes into it, so I'll break that question down into several other questions. Is the resource easily replenished or renewable in nature? Is the extraction, growth, collection, and or production process considerate and kind to the surrounding community and environment? Can I find a version of this product made from recycled or repurposed material? How long do the materials in this product take to decompose? Could I and would I compost or recycle this? Was it extracted and produced using renewable energy sources? What about the packaging? How does my use, consumption, and disposal of this product affect the environment? Does it contain toxic or harmful material? The list can go on with questions you can ask yourself, but those are the basic ones that I try to think about every time I shop. Your knowledge about brands, materials, ingredients, that'll all accumulate over time. Take advantage of the world at our fingertips. Most of us are equipped with smartphones that can easily get us this information about a certain company, chemical, food, whatever it may be in seconds. For me, when I'm scanning through a label, the more ingredients or materials that I recognize, the better. The less ingredients, additives, preservatives, and chemicals in general, the better. If you take the time to learn just one new thing about what you're buying, I see this tip as a success. Number 5, support brands doing good. Yes, Angelina, but what makes a good company? Great question. I guess at the end of the day, it's a subjective answer, but here are the qualities I look at to help me think it through. What is this company doing to give back? How do they share their wealth, their knowledge, and their resources? Do they positively contribute to and participate in the community? Are they actively pursuing strategies that benefit the greater good of humanity and the environment? How are they integrating themselves into the circular economy? If you see a lot of positive things coming out of a company or brand, and they're working toward bettering themselves and their impact, but they don't quite check off all the boxes, see that as an opportunity to have a productive conversation with the employees and the owners about how they can further attract more mindful patrons to their company, reduce waste, or get involved with the community. They may already be in the process of applying new strategies, and starting up a discussion with them might reassure them that they're on the right path. You can approach a topic first by expressing what you like about what they're doing, then segue into the ways that they can integrate more mindful practices. There's also a chance that you're not alone. Don't forget about the power of numbers. Businesses depend on their happy and loyal customers. If enough of their patrons are sharing an opinion about something, they'll most likely look into satisfying their needs. Tip number 6, think local and think ethical. Mindful spending does not ignore the community, nature, wildlife, or human rights. Some things you can ask yourself are, is this something I can buy from a local source? What are my local sources? How far has this product traveled from its processing and production facilities? Are the elements, ingredients, and materials of this product sourced locally? Is it cruelty-free and non-toxic? Are owners and employees local residents? Are employees treated and compensated for fairly? The more local sources that are involved in the supply chain process, the more money that will stay in the local economy. And it usually supports the local businesses, local farms, eliminates delivery costs and delivery time, minimizes the carbon footprint that would alternatively come in the form of an air cargo or boat shipment, train, when coming from afar. And by eating locally sourced produce, we're nourished with fresher meals. All wonderful things. Farmers markets and food co-ops are great places to shop local and get first-hand information about your goods. Lastly, tip number 7, save water and energy. Unless you're living purely off the land, you have at least one of the following: a water, gas, and or electric bill. And it's important to notice our water and energy consumption for the sake of the environment and for our wallets. To be a mindful spender when it comes to water and energy, think about these questions. Where exactly is my gas, water, and electricity coming from? How is it acquired and transported? Is there anything I can unplug right now since it's not in use? Can I afford to swap anything in my house to energy efficient, energy saving appliances? Can I afford to, or am I willing to set aside a savings to invest in renewable and efficient technologies like solar power, a hybrid or electric vehicle, a passive heating and cooling system, or a rainwater collection system? How can I reduce my water usage when it comes to showers, washing dishes, washing cars, lawn and garden care? The list of questions you can ask yourself can go on, and the list of tips I can give you can also go on as well. But those are my 7 most useful tips for today. Thanks for sticking through with me. I know it is a lot to think about, but my last tip is to take it 1 tip at a time. And count it as a win when you learn something new about what you're purchasing, or when you take a moment to dig a little deeper into a company or the life cycle of a product. It just makes sense to support businesses and products that align with our values. Take a moment to think about what that means to you. You specifically. Thank you so much for watching, and I would love to hear if you have anything you would add to this list. I know there's always more to learn out there, so please share.